Hello everyone, good morning. How we doing today? All right, hanging in there. Where is everyone? Okay, I had a feeling. Is everyone feeling okay, like application wise? You did not do yours yet? What? When's it due, today?
Yeah.
What, like midnight?
You haven't done nothing?
No, I didn't get submitted yet. I was scared that.
Oh, I know. You're too much.
So, will you all help me out real quick since you might know who is like applying and stuff? So is like the whole group up there? Okay. What about Angie? Hi. Of course. Yeah, I know. Big day. Big day.
Angie already submitted.
What was it?
Angie already submitted.
Oh, okay, cool. Of course, yeah. We'll take a few minutes right now to kind of settle in. I know this is a big day, so no worries. Yes.
Oh. Actually, yeah. You want to use it as. Why are you eating it right now?
I'm hungry. Luis is trying to be like, yes. Dude, is it your cake? You probably won't like it.
I'm just trying to do roll. I know everyone's kind of like scattered right now with it seems like everyone actually might be here. Is Aleda here?
I haven't seen it.
Okay. Does anyone know if Aleda's here? If she's doing applications? Ashley is not here. Do you know?
It's kind of easy to see.
No, Luis? Okay, he's here. Okay, that's why I want to check
Like what?
All right, y'all. Good morning. Let's check in real quick. What's up, Ivan? All good?
Yeah, make sure I'll start you.
Just trying to start class. Being mindful everyone's got their applications going. All good. All right. I'll catch you later. All right, y'all. I'm leaning into the informality of the day, but let's check in here. Is everyone feeling okay as far as their applications go? First and foremost. No. What? Just stressed? Okay. Well, we'll get through this together. So, raise your hand if you are ready to present on your topics that we assigned in class on Tuesday. All right, got one group. All right, so I know that it's an overwhelming time, and I am very aware, and I want to be as mindful as I can, but we got to keep along with our course. So let's take about half an hour to get a decent presentation for the class, right? And then we will all present like we talked about. And then we'll sort of unpack all of that information as a class after that. Is that fair enough? All right, so take like up to half an hour to get your presentations together, and then we'll probably just go in order like with the AP class, starting with clear cutting, and we'll just go down the line for all the topics. So, all right, let's try to start presenting around 9 o'clock. 9:05, whatever, you know, about 30 minutes. Does everyone like remembers their topics, has their topics, hopefully already started, at least a little? All right. And of course, if anyone has questions, just let me know.
Oh, I got it.
You have it? Well,
So
excuse
that
them.
was mine.
Can I rob me?
I was like, wait, I have one.
I look in. I feel because you want our next thing. I mean, it's a lot, guys. It's not bad. Ready to get. Oh, these are too dead.
Turbidity. Sorry. Oh, God. Well, I got it. I got Victor. Or Victor's laptop.
Yeah. I turned my Disney.
That's what we're doing for this last night. And that's I tried. But we're doing the cover, though.
It's not the most organized I've ever had in class.
Oh, we're nine. You some minutes to over to like 10 minutes to the hell no.
You can just put the action.
Did you do the
Yes.
Can you check our presentation? Let us know if we're missing anything.
Oh my gosh. We have time.
Looking better because you went on
Because I am white, I woke up with my eyes swollen and red.
Alright, so then you have the solutions. Honestly, I think it's very solid.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
These are good.
Oh.
Today's a chill day. Today's a chill day. Do you know this? I know. Why can't we just cancel? We stay here till Friday. Like an hour. It's not that much. It's like where's the basketball place? And the basketball place. At softball court. And there's like a lot. Like my dad invited his friends. He invited like some rapper that coaching. There's a lot of people. Oh yeah. You want to sound like okay, you can drink. Maybe I'll make it. Oh, Roger has it? Better one?
It's a beautiful one. But you might find that there's so much information.
I don't think I actually have any original check real quick. But I don't think you'll need to get one from the office. Let me check real quick.
We shared it?
Giovanna, I don't. This author's amazing because he draws all those images. Like does these watercolors for the books. It's pretty dope. So yeah, he's
Well, I'm pretty sure he's not reading it.
Stephen and Joshua Banana.
you know, we'll go with the flow and see, but right now, folks are taking some time to put the finishing touches on their presentations. So, you know, when we all have the groups that we were studying, we're just getting ready to present. Have you guys started? Okay. Do you remember what your topic is? Oh yeah, that sounds right. But yeah, Josh, I put one person for each group. Yeah, pest control. So it doesn't have to be perfect. You know what I mean? We just want to like start to get some information. So I would just get on AP Classroom. We're still gonna take like 20 more minutes. So I'm sure you'll be fine. But cool. Yeah, just let me know if you need any guidance or anything.
You get how much per hour?
The comment is like the people. Like where the comment. Like how we
Wait, go back to
Hey, Victor, your group is done?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I ask you a favor? I'm trying to test out this template. I'm gonna send it to you real quick, and then we'll see if it works. Okay, thank you.
Oh.
Oh, never mind. What's that heck?
Like if it's on top, it's fine, but if it's inside between This is an example of overfishing. Straight on the side bolting. With the arrow.
I don't feel stressed, but I should be stressed because I literally have one. And I have the other two are stressed. One of them is like good. Like, I don't know. Okay, if I was like that.
Yeah, so protecting old growth, very important, but still planting new trees is equally as important. You know the saying, when's the best time to plant a tree?
Next generation edition.
Sure, 20 years ago, right? 50 years ago. And then when's the next best time? Today, right? You know, as soon as possible, right? So I would maybe, I forget if it was on the previous slide, I would maybe just talk about that as another solution too, like reforestation, right? Planting more new trees, and like habitat restoration, yeah, like restoring the habitat too. But yeah, that's, protecting old growth is so important. Love that. All right, Mr. Victor, I'm gonna send you that template now, and let's see if it works. I'm gonna just send it to your email.
Why didn't you work with me? Oh, no. Even crazy. Go get to work, bro.
Well, send me the slides, fool.
You understand my point? That's all right.
If you should send it to me so that I can project it, and then, you know, you all will present it. Send it to my email. That way it's like easier for me to just open the file.
Can we just do whatever we do?
What's,
San Diego.
I sent it right to you. What the heck? That's not a bad idea. Who did I send it to?
Maybe it just hasn't gone through yet.
What the heck? I I sent it. Oh, come on.
Is that like dog? I'd rather play.
We'll give it a minute.
He's so good. Just this one sentence is like, this is so cool. Like, I should probably do this for future classes. Not like just teaching alone. Remember when we were kind of talking about rain shadow that day? So like, he just says it's so good. Like, this area of the forest in like Eastern California, right? It's all lush here, like the coast, and then it's like way drier forest over here. Because transmontane, it's like the bioregion where the forest often shares characteristics of the desert. As it is rendered here, it's very dramatic effect. It's rain shadow. It's amazing.
Offense, defense. Defensive and defense.
Good stuff. Yeah, he's done all the, he's done coast.
Is it on the line or is it like
Coast of California too. I'll bring them in. They're beautiful books.
Miles Garrett.
So I stumbled upon this at like a bookstore. It was Barnes and Noble.
Is it like
I
Miles
was
Garrett,
like
Max
looking
Crosby?
at a bookstore one day and I saw this book. I was just like, it looks so unique, right? And I started flipping through it and I was like, oh my god, this is the best environmental science book I've ever found. And I mean, because it's like all red. It's like art. It's very like aesthetically pleasing, but then what he writes is super deep. And then he writes about all of it, right? He writes about the science, but then he also like hits on all the important like socio-political points. And then also takes time to just admire it. It's like I love that, right? The black bear. Like, come on, that's amazing. We should bust this out next time we have an art day, like for art inspiration, right? We should. Are y'all down? Okay, yeah, we should. That could be a nice week for Explore Week before it goes.
Bro, can you hurry in?
I just want you all to know that on that note, you can steal that foot, right? The best thing would be if you saw old growth, right? What's the best time to plant a tree 20 years ago? But still, the next best time to plant a tree is today. So we want to, you know, reforest. All right, see ya.
Hernandez,
What?
So you never got that email, Victor? What the heck? I guess it's not meant to be. All right. I'm gonna just be. I was trying to get us on Canva for our
That alone is.
Oh, hell no, that was the worst.
You forgave me. Like it's such a
Yeah. I'm better. I do better.
What photo? Alright, bro.
My head's getting hot.
Alright, let me edit my images.
All right, y'all. I would like to start presenting, hopefully in like 10 minutes. I know groups are at different paces, but I'm not encouraging you to do a low quality job, but don't overthink it is all I'm saying, right? Get some information on there. I'm going to supplement it like as we go along, and you know, as long as everyone presents something, then we're good. But let's, for the sake of those on different paces, let's take 10, 15 minutes tops, and then we'll start presenting. Fair enough? All right. And then, sorry, other thing is, I posted the assignment on Empower so I can, give you a grade. But I'm gonna put some guiding questions for notes on there, because I want everyone to be, engaged with the presentation. So as each group presents, make sure if you're not presenting, you're taking notes, right? So we're actually getting this material. Cool.
Are you gonna change the font? I think we're met.
No, but I wanna. You have to do that.
Oh, I found out that this wasn't even included. So I could keep it.
No, not from there, bro. No. Look, bro, what's
They got a new car.
this one, bro?
They're like,
Yeah, he's old anyways.
it's like, yeah, yeah.
Alright, cool.
No, the different methods.
That's why the way they get rid of
That's not the way, because you're supposed to work late.
How?
No, she goes around like.
You go to work late, right?
Yes, those are the ways to do it. That's the way.
Oh,
They
order.
They're meant to be. Hey, how are you, that's you, bro?
I don't know.
She got
I don't know. No, make it like specific, or what kind of.
That's it.
Comptroller. Oh, I got it, mister.
Better late than never.
Yep.
Did it open up?
Yeah.
Can you type on it?
No, it's a PDF. I probably have to hide it down there.
Oh, forget it. I'm going back to the mountain. I'm gonna go harvest some paper for us to use, and I'll let you know when I'm back. We'll get there. We'll get there. I'm evolving too, right? I'm learning to interact in my new ecosystem.
ผมเป็นคนอะไร
On the bench, they were taking pictures. You were like from 23rd to 31st was for money.
Oh yeah. I'm better than Roger.
Like,
No
well,
way,
they
no.
got it already back.
Nah, bro. There's actually no way he recovered that fucking time.
I'm better.
He's got to be on drugs.
Don't worry, bro. I'm
This is
better.
how you were-
Hell no, bro. There's no way he's gonna go back. He's gonna go back into the he's gonna take a shot on week 18. Let me tell you.
Okay, sure.
That's why that was
Wait, this is
Oh shit. I'm away until it said hold on play. When it comes down, it was done already, bitch. How do you pass
All right, y'all. Let's call it a 5-minute warning. 5 minutes. I could see a handful of groups are probably ready to present. I could see most groups are putting the finishing touches on it. So don't overthink it, y'all. It'll be great. I'm excited to learn. I'm ready for class today, right? Give me a break. I'm gonna get my notes out. Get my notebook.
Insect factory.
I did it.
barely even see what that is.
The first one on the screen, but
Don't talk about it.
oh,
It's a vacuum though, you know.
That is not no problem. That's just a fucking.
No, it's not.
up there.
With pest control, I thought you meant to.
I woke up on the Friday, you know, like 12.
Oh.
Are you sure we're talking about the right pest control?
If you never really open it, then inside.
No, but no, watch the video. There's nothing about like.
So when you're done with your presentations, go ahead and send them to my email. That way I can just open the files and project it to the class. And then, you know, you're welcome to have your laptops to reference or whatever notes you want. You know, ultimately you're going to be presenting and teaching the class, right?
What are we reading? Before, can we do the next one?
You guys want this thing?
I'm just tired, like, I'm just looking at this.
So that's a good one.
Whoever does that one, like, this is like, oh, this is the analytics. 2018, this is the most recent.
What's because you just started?
This is she lifted herself.
And I'm already.
So much to do, so little time, right, y'all?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, Joshua says. But it's all good. We will get through this together, I promise. And hopefully more than one of you writes me even a quick email from college being like, Mr. College is dope and your class was pretty dope too. And we got through this together. And now I'm here having this amazing experience. Oh, should we listen to our favorite song again? Big Yellow Taxi? I found a funk cover. It's actually really cool. Oh, you know our daily ritual here. Or you got me. I got you. It's our daily ritual. You know, we don't want that sound pollution when the speaker's not on. It's the thing. I mean, it's like, it is actually an interesting concept to think about. Especially, like, you can talk about sound pollution, like, in environmental science, especially how it affects whales. But it affects humans too, just more subtly, right? Like, it affects our nervous systems, right? Because we're, like, on alert, we hear sounds, and we don't realize it. But for whatever reason, I've become very sensitive to sound, so, like, when it's quiet in here and I'm trying to work, I just hear this. And I'm like, you know, so I have to unplug it. Because I'm just not, I don't know how to turn it off, but I don't think it turns off, right? So I just unplug it. Get this. You hear it? I shouldn't have told you. You probably didn't, and now it's here. Looks like if it's plugged in. Okay. We will let this be our hourglass here. And then after this song, we're going to start presenting, okay? This is the same song we listened to the other day, just... Oh! Oh, right? Just wait for the backup singers. I see Josh. Oh yeah, come on, get into it. I like that. Okay. Okay then. Now that we got that out of our system, let's see. I believe that clear cutting is our first group in order. I'm just going to go down the line from what it says on AP Classroom. Before we start though, on Empower, I gave you a set of guiding questions. So I'd like you to take a moment to create a document, either on your computers, you know, whatever, Google Doc or Word Doc, or if you want to write the notes, I'm always fine with that too. But for each presentation, I'd like you to take some notes, right? Please feel free to take whatever notes you see fit, but then try to like get those little guiding notes and questions that I gave for you on Empower too. Basically, like naming the thing, whatever it is, whether it's you know, deforestation or mining, whatever the topic is, like what the intended benefit of it was originally. The ecological consequences, of course, as we're examining in this class, and then maybe if the group includes them, some solutions to our thing. So take a moment to get ready to take those notes. All right. So, I believe we have our first group here, clear cutting. I'm excited. Y'all are gonna do great. And yeah, let's put our ecological lenses on here and start to examine some environmental issues. And then you all just let me know, or you know, I'll kind of go with the flow with you and change the slides. All good. And of course, please, as always, we are going to give our utmost respect and attention to our presenters, just as they will to you. And without further ado, take it away, y'all.
Alright, our presentation is on the effects of clear cutting. What is clear cutting? Clear cutting is an old and aggressive method of the extraction of wood used since the start of the Industrial Revolution. However, the term clear cutting had its origin with wood, as an increasing amount of wood will ultimately cause the destruction of multiple forests around the world. Some people have tried to restore these trees by planting new ones in places which were once forests. The effects of clear cutting end up having a permanent effect on the forest and the surrounding ecosystems.
Oof. Yeah, that image on the left actually really sums it up, right? And it kind of just like, we could talk about it, but that exemplifies the problem. It's like, you can't just take like a couple of trees in between, right? You really have to just clear. That's like, the term is very self-explanatory, right? They just clear cut the entire, right? The entire region. So yeah, clear cutting is kind of like a self-explanatory term, if you will, right? Like they literally just clear the entire area. We'll give folks a moment to get their notes and stuff, and then dang, just typing away over there. All right.
Examples of the consequences of clear cutting in California can be considered one of the examples of consequences of clear cutting. In the span of 31 years, California has cleared over 1 million acres of forest in order to keep up with heavy demand of wood and an increasing population in California. The redwood forest is the most known, with victim of clear cutting. Another example of the consequences of clear cutting can be in the Amazon rainforest. The Brazilian government during 2013 was responsible for the majority of the acres of forest in the Amazon rainforest, specifically in the Paris state. Today, however, deforestation in Brazil is down 66%, with surprisingly being at an all-time low.
Nice. Thank you for some good news, right? Amidst we're going to be looking at all these environmental problems. Yes, the Amazon, I feel that we've all heard of the Amazon forest, right? It's the largest remaining rainforest on Earth. And so it is vital that we protect it, right? Because forests, in a way, are like the lungs of the Earth. But unfortunately, the Amazon has been one of the biggest victims of clear cutting, if you will. Unfortunately, often to set up cattle farms, right? And oh look, yeah, your message is right there. Plant a tree. That's hilarious. But yeah, that's I actually didn't know it was down that much, right? I had read that clear cutting in the Amazon had slowed, but yeah, thank you for sharing that. And then of course you all know Mr. C's bias towards the redwoods. Does anyone happen to know the percentage of old growth redwoods left? So the old growth, meaning like the original population of redwoods, right? Scientists estimate there's like 3 to 5% at most left, right? So they were clear cut almost entirely. This Mr. C? She is not. I believe so, yeah. You're welcome. Shall we move on? Sorry, dang, 1 million acres? Crazy.
Trees are estimated to absorb over 48 pounds of carbon dioxide a year and 1 ton of carbon dioxide once it reaches the age of 40 years. It can be astonishing how much carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere with just 1 day of deforesting a small percentage of a forest. This can mean that for every 100 trees cut down an hour, approximately 100 tons of carbon dioxide, equivalent to 2,000 pounds of carbon dioxide, is released into the atmosphere. The unusual placement and out of placement of shrubs and young trees can also be more probable, as these tree plants are more exposed to the sun without shade from bigger trees, causing unnatural forest fires, which usually devastate the remaining trees, of which were left to preserve the forest.
Nice, yeah, 2 very good points there, right? One is, anyone remember the term from Unit 1 that first bullet point is describing? What would you call that? Like, what are the trees providing us by doing that, right? Sequestering all that carbon. It's an example of what? So, what was it? Okay, fair enough, carbon cycle. What I was looking for was, because you're not wrong, right? As an example of the carbon cycle, I was looking for ecosystem service, right? The fact that trees, just by living and breathing, consume that much greenhouse gas is incredible, right? So when you look at a tree, depending on its size, one way to look at it is it has sequestered that much carbon dioxide, right, through photosynthesis. The other point that they made, which is important to think about with clear cutting, is there's often this notion that, oh, we can just replace what was there, right? So people replant stuff and then they are not being mindful of the original ecosystem, right? So like they put here, them trying to like replant actually ends up hurting the old growth that was remaining. So it is pretty complicated, and it's one of the many reasons as we're looking at why clear cutting is just not a good strategy. But alas, solutions.
Although replanting trees, as I said earlier, can no longer fix the ecological damage that was caused by the consequences of clear cutting, it can still nevertheless be the last resort for slowing down the exponential increase of forests nationwide. Furthermore, by educating others and supporting responsible companies toward the last resort of clear cutting on the environment, we can slowly stop this excessive use of capitalists and have more time to save the remaining forests, which have yet to be victims of clear cutting. But the best time to plant a tree was 30 years ago, and the second best time is today.
Yes, let's do it. Let's go plant trees right now, y'all. What are we doing? I think we need to do that at least once this year, right? Have a tree planting day.
Yes.
I think that is vital for our science classroom here.
Yes.
If anyone has community service hours that they need to fulfill, I've been researching tons of opportunities. There's a bunch in the Santa Monica Mountains, but we could even try to find one slightly more local and do some tree planting. I'll do it with y'all if you need to get those hours. This was it? Okay, perfect. Yay, thanks y'all. Woo! That was great, thank you. Were there any questions for our group? I should have asked, my bad. Any pressing questions from the class? No, really? Okay, I'm just going in order here, so next up, give it up for the Green Revolution. But that is a misleading title, right? You might hear that and think, oh, this is like, right, all the sustainability stuff. No, as you're about to learn, the Green Revolution does not quite mean like what you think it means in the modern day. All right, the Green Revolution. Take it away, y'all.
1950, Green Revolution.
Y'all are good. Take your time. We are ready when you are.
In 1950.
Do we have to call on Daniel Rodriguez to start? I'm just teasing. Oh, it's okay. Get it out. Yeah.
In 1950, the Green Revolution was initiated due to the issue of malnutrition in the developing world. The Green Revolution transformed agriculture around the globe. World gained production increased by 160%. The production increases sponsored by the Green Revolution are often credited with having helped to avoid widespread famine and for feeding billions of people.
Okay. Does anybody have any idea what would make this sort of thing possible? Well, there's a phrase in environmental science, and it goes as following, that we are still eating the leftovers of World War II. What could that possibly mean? This is Mr. C. Hello. We are, yeah, students are doing presentations. Okay, you want me to check in with you after class? Yes, yeah, it'd be totally fine. I'll send it right over. Okay, yeah, for sure. Ariana, that was for you. It was Mr. Passies, he's in the front office. Yes. Alright, sorry y'all. So sorry, to remind, real quick, just marinate on that quote, right? And see if you can figure it out. We're still eating the leftovers of World War II, right? So think about the year the Green Revolution started, think about when World War II ended, and think about like what would be left over from World War II that could contribute to this agricultural revolution, right?
A summary of what happened in the Green Revolution is basically just like large-scale productive operations, which includes the increased level of mechanization on larger farms, which encouraged monoculture, which is the practice of growing one crop species in a field at a time, and the use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides, improved irrigation systems, and genetically modified organisms.
Wow. So that is a lot of that. So that's why it's referred to. That's why it's referred to as a revolution, is because, you know, prior to this, people farmed on a much smaller scale, and this idea here of monoculture, or often called monocropping, was impossible, because on a farm without these technologies, right, you are working by foot, you know, you don't have all the vehicles, right? And on top of that, when you try to grow a bunch of plants together, just one plant, there's a phrase in farming and agriculture: monoculture equals mono problems. It invites pests, right? So then with monocropping came the use of chemicals and pesticides. So it became this kind of like feedback loop, and has completely altered our agricultural systems.
How many lives has the Green Revolution saved? Around a billion people. Between 1965 and 1970, wheat yields nearly doubled in Pakistan and India, greatly improving the food security in those nations. Borlaug was often called the father of the Green Revolution, and is credited with saving over a billion people worldwide.
Nice. So here we're looking at, this is where I want you to draw on our environmental ethics from week 1, right? If we could think all the way back to looking at those ethical scenarios, right here it is. And this is when we have to think about the short term versus the long term, right? They don't make it easy on you there, sorry. Okay, so look, in the short term, right, when it was initially introduced, like that is an engineering feat, right, to save that many lives and feed that many people, right? Like that in and of itself is amazing. But this was before people started to perhaps realize the ecological consequences of this new method of farming, right? Especially the increased use of chemicals.
How did the Green Revolution help farming? The Green Revolution refers to a transformative 20th century agricultural project that utilized plant genetics, modern irrigation systems, and chemical fertilizers and pesticides to increase food production and reduce poverty and hunger in developing countries.
Right, so again, all these amazing benefits, right? But I want you to keep in mind that question I asked at the beginning, right? The statement rather, like we're still eating the leftovers of World War II. And then, yeah, just keep in mind this use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides, right? Like where does that stuff go? So that's kind of what we're doing as we go through here. Any questions for our group before we proceed? All right, then give it up. Thanks, guys. And I would just add to this presentation as I was kind of adding along the way, with these issues that we're examining, right? There is a benefit to them, right? They're all amazing technological or engineering feats, but we really want to make sure that we're examining the ecological consequences, right? And so, in regards to the Green Revolution, we definitely want to keep in mind the use of chemicals and pesticides. All right, pest control methods. You guys are up. You guys are stoked. You guys are gonna do great. It's just about, getting the information out there. All right, let's give our next group here on pest control our undivided attention.
We did pest control. What is pest control? Pest control is the process of managing and preventing pests, such as insects, rodents, and other animals from causing damage to crops, buildings, and other areas.
Just giving everyone a second to take their notes.
Types of pest control methods. There's loading road covers, mechanical traps, shingle traps, loose traps, and pheromone traps. Ultrasonic pest repellent devices, water pressure spray, and insect vacuum.
What's a pheromone? Does anyone know?
They like attract that certain species, right?
Sure. Like,
Pheromones are like odor.
yeah, exactly. It's like a smell or a scent, right? And so, yeah, it's kind of like a fun word to describe that, right? Like sometimes, like in nature or even with human beings, like not to be weird, but people say like you're attracted to someone, like your partner or whatever, because of their pheromones, right? It's like this like deep biological thing. You've heard that before? Okay, so yeah. All right. All right, y'all. Let's stay with our group here.
So the side effects and problems of pest control. Pesticides can transport into the atmosphere during and after the application.
Aye.
It can also reach the groundwater, which can affect drinking water and streams as well.
Oh.
And they also pose a threat to humans if we take in pest control. It can give us disease.
Sorry, I was gonna try and help you out there.
Yeah.
Shoot. Oh, I'm not helping.
I'm gonna read it off on my
I got you.
computer.
So then the next one was saying, although it kills certain pests, it also affects, it has unintended consequences, right? It looks like it hurts bees and other mammals, right? And then that affects biodiversity. So yeah, there's this huge consequence of using, as you can imagine, right, pesticides and chemicals. I know you all, from everything we've talked about in this class, right, can kind of make that connection there, right? Like, I'm hitting you with all these phrases from my time in environmental studies in college, right? I had a professor say something that stuck with me. Pollution is not isolated in the moment of exposure, right? Back in the day, it seems like people just thought, oh, I'm going to spray this chemical and it'll just like disappear, right? It'll float away to space. No, we have come to know that Earth is very interconnected, right? That's our famous phrase in this class. Everything's interconnected, so pollution in one place means pollution everywhere, right? Those chemicals break down in the atmosphere, like our group just taught us, and then it could go into the water, right? Like it's got to go somewhere. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, just moved around, right? This is Mr. C. Yo. Sure. Do you have an ETA? I'm just wondering because they were going to present relatively soon. Okay, for sure. Thank you. Thank you. It was for Alondra and Giovanna for Mr. Chavez, but let me see when you all. Sorry, guys. It's we get. I'm okay with it. It's the day. What was your topic again? Okay, you all are actually next. So then after that, feel free to go after. Is that cool? Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Sorry. Oh, that was your slide anyway. Okay, so perfect. Give it up for Joshua and Julian. Come on, give them some love. This is exactly what I'm like. That's what I was saying. Like, don't overthink it, right? They introduced the topic to us. They showed us like the intended benefit, right? And then they showed us the ecological consequences. That was perfect, right? So thank you, y'all. Everyone, I love every presentation so far. Next up, we've got meat production, which is kind of a weird thing to think about, right? So, whenever you all are ready, I was just trying to tell you, like for the sake of time, I got it. Oh yeah, I could probably go to the next slide for you, huh? Would that help? All right, y'all, let's, oh, boom, you already got the important information there, I can see. All right, let's keep on learning. Get ready to take some notes.
What is meat production? Meat production is the raising of cattle, turkey, pigs, sheep, goats, or any other livestock production like humans. There are two types of meat production. There's free-range grazing and CAO.
Often called CAFOs, if you've ever have heard that phrase, a CAFO, which stands for the Concentrated Animal Feeding Operation. Those are not pretty pictures. If you've ever seen pictures of them, or if you ever have watched the documentary Food Inc.
Land use. It takes a lot of land to raise livestock. 25% of land area in the U.S. is used to raise livestock, and it's a big investment of land. Owning livestock requires so much land because of the population growth and street increase in consumption will raise the demand for beef, which is the land required.
Boom. So now our group here has made a wonderful connection to, I'm going to always say it, everything's interconnected, right? So clear cutting leads to this type of meat production, right? Like you have habitat loss in one form, and then it invites this sort of agricultural practice, right? So all these are kind of going in order, right? You clear cut the land, and then you apply green revolution farming tactics to it, and then now you're able to have factory farms, right? That's what CAFOs are. That's another word for CAFOs, is factory farms. So, you can kind of see the trajectory here as we go along. That was a great connection that you all made.
One thing to consider when raising meat is non-sustainable methods. It's some boy in some bad places. One place is close to its water needs, and it has some negative effects. Since animals
Oh, benign.
and some of them are of the variety, which can cause some health issues for humans. This runs into water and it can end up in drinking water and then in for food.
So right, think about Unit 1 once again when we were doing the biogeochemical cycles, right? Like the nitrogen cycle and all this stuff like is connected to this basically this farm runoff, right? When you have too many animals on a too small piece of land, their waste is going to get too concentrated, right? So then it's going to run off, and that's how it ends up getting into the water supply, right? And then like our group pointed out, there's all this bacteria. And then if you've ever heard of E. coli, right, in food, have you ever heard of like lettuce or a food getting recalled because of E. coli? So yeah, all these problems can result from it. So same concept here, you know, these things are going to, like, the animals are consuming them, and then of course, like any organism, the animal is, you know, like producing waste. So then these things can travel into the waterways and into the atmosphere those ways also.
It's just a chart.
For sure. So, for the audience here, what is a takeaway from this chart?
Crop production, meat production.
Yeah, that is actually what stood out to me too. 20 times more the amount of land, right, to grow plants. But then think about, what are these animals eating, right? On these factory farms, are they just grazing grass naturally? Right. Thank you, Joshua. So we're using other land to grow crops, right? Then feed the cattle, right? So it's just an enormously, the word would be inefficient use of land, right? Like it's actually kind of an insane equation. I'm no mathematician, but even I can do that equation. So yeah, you could see all of the ecological consequences of meat production, right? When you basically, once you concentrate too many animals on a farm, that's when it becomes meat production versus just like, you know, we would call it regenerative agriculture otherwise, if it was balanced, right?
The consequences, meat production is killing wildlife and using forests to destroy habitats and using toxic pesticides to grow animal food. The industrial feed industry is contributing to the extinction of thousands of species, many of which have been human beings.
Boom. So yeah, not to steal y'all's thunder, but this was exactly what I was just trying to get at, right? Like all the issues we've just examined are shown here, right? You clear the forests, then you use pesticides, right? And then by doing so, you've destroyed ecosystems and habitats, right? So it's a very kind of scary feedback loop that we see, right? It's like one almost leads to the other.
Solution. Improve efficiency of productivity. Improve efficiency can refer to more land use. Reducing pressure to clear more land. Fewer greenhouse gas emissions per kilogram of feed and more efficient use of feed. Productivity. Gain efficiency can increase profit, which may lead producers to design their business in a way that creates more.
Nice. I like that. Thank you for including a solution, right? Like, while you can't fix a problem in the same mindset that created it, right? Our engineering and technological capabilities are still just continually growing, right? So if we can find ways to have more efficient farms, right? We could still practice the types of agriculture to make the foods we want to eat, but then have less of an impact on the land, right? So that is ultimately the goal here, is to find solutions to all these problems. And let's give it up for our group. Wonderful presentation. Thank you. I know that it's a particularly stressful day with applications and stuff, but I'm loving this format because it's great to hear you all. And I feel like it allows us to kind of have a more like participatory class. So thank you, everyone. These have been great presentations. I think we just have 2 more for the day. Let's give it up for the impacts of mining. Oh, right. You know what? I forgot. This is going to be fun because we have 2 groups that did this topic. So that is funny. I totally forgot. Make them fight for it?
You have to go at the same time, talk at the same time.
Oh, they're both such beautiful presentations.
Let's see which one's better.
So there's Ariana's group and then there's Donna's group. So I don't know how to choose which one goes first. How do we do this? What? Okay, that sounds reasonable. All right, y'all. Oh man, that image kills me, but that was a good, that's good. You're good, you're good.
Mining's environmental impact direct and indirect effects on ecology and human health, being categorized as metal contamination in ground and water, the forming effects from mining, acid mine drainage, heavy metal contamination, sediment and erosion, and the process of chemicals.
Physical impact, structural instability. Structural instability in mining often observed near tailings disposal systems can lead to the release of contaminants. The 1972 Buffalo Creek disaster promoted legislative action resulting in public law safety and the National Dam Safety Program. Today's tailings system prioritize physical characteristics and site conditions, incorporating miners and earthquakes readiness.
Dang, that is some deep environmental science right there. But yeah, that is kind of the sad chemistry of what's going on with the mines, right? This acid is like so potent that it can dissolve metals, and then that gets into the water, right? And then, surprise, what do you think would allow people to mine, right? Well, let's clear cut the land, and then, now we have easier access to mine it, right? So, unfortunately, oftentimes one environmental problem leads to another. Well, that's an interesting interplay right there, right? Because this environmental disaster happened, but because of our technology, right, they were able to at least save some human lives. So that's pretty amazing that we have that technology, right? Am I supposed to click this? Oh. Oh, dang.
At Hertz Car Sales, select from over 10,000 vehicles. Visit one of our 60-plus locations.
Bingham Canyon has been in operation since 1903, and in the more than 100 years since then, this site has been the source of many breakthroughs, still used in mines throughout the world today.
The landslide is known as a rock avalanche. Even though the slide was one of the largest non-volcanic slides in North America, the slide was predicted by interferon radar systems that track movements on the pit's wall, so evacuations prevent any deaths or injuries. The landslide had 2 slides that were about 1 to 2 hours apart. Both slides lasted about 10 seconds, displacing 60 to 70 million meters of dirt and rock, blocking many of the mine's main roads. Surface wave amplitudes were 5.1 for the first slide and 4.9 for the second. The magnitude of the first slide was 2.5 and 4.2, and the second slide was 2.4 and 3.5.
I'd like to point to the main face slide just behind me. We've moved over 14 million tons from the top and sides of that failure in an effort to return this area to a safe configuration for our miners. The 165 million ton main face slide was a defining moment in the history of Kennecott Utah Copper's Bingham Canyon mine. Since April 10th, our employees have worked in a singular effort to accelerate our recovery progress. To talk a little bit more about what's been achieved to date, our employees moved over 6 million tons, dumped over 2.2 million tons to build the road across the slide mass. It's over 3/4 of a mile long and 150 feet wide.
Oh, dang, here we go. Now we're talking. What the heck?
This
How do we reduce the impact of mining? Reclamation, soil treatment. Reclamation at a mine site involves restoring soil and vegetation, and while regularly the requirements may suggest complex design, simple yet efficient approach includes neutralizing acidity with lime, adding a topsoil cover, and promoting vegetation growth to stabilize soil and prevent erosion.
Nice. I'm gonna give folks just a minute to type these notes. I just realized, like, because we were still in order. Okay, y'all, thank you. Let's give it up for our group. And then if you all need to go see Mr. Chavez, please do. If anyone else needs to do college stuff, please, I get it, feel free. And if you need to use the restroom, that's fine too. So, Odalis and Donna, do you feel genuinely like your presentation like has different stuff to cover? Okay, great. So we'll just do the other mining one, and then yeah, we'll have you all go.
Did you give him access to
Okay, so we're gonna double down on mining. It actually is it's super relevant because honestly, okay, so most scientists, conservationists, people who are reading and learning about climate change are sounding the alarm and saying we need to decarbonize our economy, right? We need to stop burning fossil fuels and shift to clean energy. Well, where does clean energy come from? Well, it turns out it might not be so clean after all. And it's one of the main ways we want to consider the impacts of mining, right? And I love the little Bitcoin reference too. That is great, which is very energy intensive process and is mining in every sense, right? It's just digital, and so it's different, but still requires energy, right? So without further ado, go for it, y'all. Oh, with the Dogecoin too? That is hilarious. I admit it, I bought some Dogecoin. I regret it.
So, what is mining? It is obtaining minerals from the ground, such as gold, diamonds, phosphorus, gravel, and coal. People mine for economical needs, such as more resources, such as metal, copper, and also coin currency.
Refining is a process where impurities are removed from a substance. Depending on the ore, the process of purifying it is done from heating it to the other chemical applications. After the refining, you get two substances. One is the carbon mineral, which is the material you're aiming for, and the coatings, which are the impurities that are removed. Cyanide heat leaching is one of the processes of refinement, specifically for coal. It is where you slap two ores with a liquid bronze that contains cyanide, which dissolves the impurities into a slurry, which is a liquid mixed with dead solids.
Dang, both groups hitting us with some heavy science here, right? But it is interesting to see like the actual process, right? And so then again, in spirit of our theme, right? Like this in and of itself is a pretty amazing engineering feat, right? That humans figured out how to do this stuff. So before we knew about the environmental consequences, it was strictly just like an amazing feat, right?
Surface mining. So there's three types of surface mining. There's open pit mining, which is digging into the ground. An example would be like the SoFi Stadium, where they dug into the ground. This causes the ground to have a slope and a lower albedo, which albedo reflects the light from the surface. Strip mining cuts the material into strips. So this can use excess amounts of fossil fuel due to the size of the machines and create pollution because of the combustion of the fuel. And then the last one is the mountaintop removal. So it's pretty much just claiming like if the mountain had a peak, it's just now cut and it's now flat, mostly to get coal.
Those are all terrible, but that last one just seems to have an extra like, oh, that is just like insult to injury right there, right? Remove the mountaintop to like extract the most potent fossil fuel, right? Oh my lord.
Environmental consequences of mining. Consequences can consist of no vegetation without roots keeping the soil down, causing soil erosion like landslide and mudslides. It could increase the temperature as well, which will lower the albedo, which means like less light reflection. Burning fossil fuels during a mining operation
that word that this group has included in their slide is very relevant for this class. I would not be surprised to see AP exam throw albedo on it. So yeah, that is an important word for us to commit to memory in this class, and it, as our group has taught us, it refers to something's reflective quality, right? So low albedo means less light is reflected, right? So think of darker surfaces, and then higher albedo, more light is reflected. So think about snow and ice caps, and that's where we can make our connection with reducing polar ice caps means less albedo. That means more heat's being absorbed by the oceans and the earth, right? Instead of being reflected. This is Mr. C. For sure. There's Ms. Segura. This is another good word here too, turbidity. Like that's just another word we want to commit to memory in this class, and it's this quality of being kind of like cloudy. Like if you're looking at like polluted water, right? It might be kind of cloudy or milky.
Acid, mine drainage. So it is only unique for mining because it is often a result due to mining activity, and this can often happen in like abandoned mines. Pyrite, also known as fool's gold, contains sulfur and would react with the oxygen and water, forming into sulfuric acid. Because of the acidity, it will dissolve anything in its path. If there is a slant in a stream nearby, the sulfuric acid will carry heavy metal ions and iron ions into the water. It'll cause the water to have a lower pH, acidic area, and heavy metals. So the lower pH interferes with organisms in the water. Heavy metals will affect the health of the organisms, and once the iron in the water is exposed into the air, it causes the water to turn into an orange color.
Yes, we want to remember how sensitive ecosystems are, right? They took millions of years to evolve, right? So when we alter the pH, right, that can have enormous ecological consequences. So yeah, oftentimes with all these activities we're examining, humans did not consider the consequences of their actions, or were just ignorant to them at the time, right? I don't believe people who invented mining necessarily meant to pollute the earth, but also, right, you have to kind of know, right? If you're burning coal, that can't be good, or like, letting this stuff leak into the environment. So yeah, both groups did a good job of highlighting this point. Again, this is going to probably be, if they're asking you about environmental consequences or the impacts of mining, right?
Mine remediation. Mining remediation is the process of fixing the damages caused by mining operations in order to prevent any contamination. Without the remediation of disasters like erosion happen, such as landslides and mudslides, the process of remediation first consists of grading the soil, which means changing the slope, in order to preserve the erosion of topography. Then you enrich the soil and add plants for vegetation to maintain the erosion.
That is pretty amazing image right there. That's news to me. I'm actually unfamiliar with this concept myself. Mine remediation. Sounds like a beautiful thing. It looks pretty nice. I mean, you'd never know, right? That's kind of crazy.
So facts, people on this will or can die because it's a risky job. In 2022, there were a total of 29 deaths in the U.S. alone. There's something called black lung disease, which causes your lungs to turn black due to all the coal and the dirt that you're mining. It will cause air pollution from the process. There's going to be damage to the biodiversity.
and it costs a lot of money because of inflation and the heavy machinery, and yeah, the water turns are in shell.
Yay, thanks y'all. So we got a double dose of mining there, but it worked out perfectly because both groups touched on different things, and then both groups made very similar, very important points. So I believe that is actually going to conclude the day because we only have about 5 minutes left. So I think we'll do our last two groups on Friday. Or, you know what, y'all? I love that. Go for it. And then we'll have to save our final group for Friday, but that'll be perfect because there was an exit ticket that you all were going to engage with, but obviously we've run out of time. It'd be too much. Our last group presenting Friday will be the perfect segue into that. So, you know, life happens. We go with the flow. This is a big day for y'all, so I appreciate how much effort you've put into these presentations despite everything else going on. So, all right, here we go. 5 minutes on the clock.
My name is Roger. And this is the impact of overfishing.
What is overfishing? Overfishing is the removal of species of fish from a body of water at a rate greater than the species can replenish its population naturally, resulting in the species becoming increasingly underpopulated and
I'm sure we get that, right? Overfishing, overconsumption, right? Just too many, right? Too much removal.
Impacts of overfishing. Overfishing led to the extreme scarcity of some species, which can lessen biodiversity in aquatic systems and harm people who depend on fishing for food and commerce. Commercial fishing includes long line, drift net, gill net, and sonar.
Oh, I see some Dories and Nemos in that picture.
This is one of the graphs that we found most recently of overfishing. As you can see, there's not many fish.
Dang, so they were hauling 40 million tons? Holy mackerel. So who's the largest consumer of fish? What up, Asia? It's all right. You know, every culture has a different primary protein, right? Where Asia harvests more fish, right? Western countries typically do way more meat production, right? So it's not to highlight any particular region of the world, right? It just, you know, the graph, the data doesn't lie, that's all. Exactly.
Some solutions to overfishing is you could catch limits to allow healthy populations to remain abundant and overfish populations to recover, fishing gear restrictions and modifications to help reduce bycatch, and closures to limit when and where fishing can occur, or entry of new fishermen and boats.
Yes. I honestly, fishing gear restrictions, right? Why do we allow companies to go out with these huge nets that catch everything, right? From sea turtles to sometimes marine mammals, right? Other types of fish, like, it's just a very reckless practice. Okay, I like this connection right here.
The tragedy of the commons. Overfishing is catching too many fish at once, so the breeding population becomes too depleted to recover. Overfishing often goes hand in hand with wasteful types of commercial fishing that haul in massive amounts of unwanted fish or other animals, which are then discarded. Poor fishing management is the primary cause. Around the world, many fishers are governed by rules that make the problem worse or have no good habits.
Yes, amazing connections to the first thing we discussed in this unit, the tragedy of the commons, right? The ocean is like the best example of that, right? And without rules, which we probably need, right? More regulations on fishing in the ocean, we've seen what's happened to some fish stocks. So, great presentation to wrap us up for the day. Thank you. And we will have one more presentation to look forward to on Friday, and then that'll kind of segue us into our exit ticket anyways. So, great work today, and good luck on your applications, y'all. If there's any way I can support you, obviously, even if you just need help writing, I'm here for you. So you can come seek me out during the day if you need any like random help or support. Otherwise, have a beautiful rest of your day, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
You didn't have to go far, did you?